I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call, supervisors, please? Supervisor Ron Frederick. Thank you. Supervisor Gaschke and Franco are excused. Moving on, I have the appointment and confirmation of the supervisor for District 4. Following the procedure outlined in our ordinance, I caused notice of the vacancy and called it for applications for the appointment to represent District 4 to be published in the Kenosha News for the required time. Following the deadline for submitting applications, members of the executive committee interviewed the two interested candidates who responded, and I want to thank them for the time they took in applying and being interviewed. The two candidates were in order in which they were interviewed. Mr. John Prue, an installation program director for the Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Department at the Great Lakes Naval Base, as well as a previous board member of Freedom's Lutheran School and Shorten Lutheran High School. The second candidate was Ms. Laura Belsky, former vice president of U.S. Bank in Brookfield, with experience in the areas of customer service, expertise in enterprise incident management and IT infrastructure, as well as her service on boards of Kenosha Harbor Market, the South Park Association, and the Community Sailing Center. I wish to commend both applicants for their commitment to their communities and their interest in public service. Just as I did in the previous vacancies, when I interviewed these individuals, I did not ask about political philosophy or beliefs, because I don't think it's very relevant to determine who could best serve in this position. I asked what nonpartisan meant to both of them, because I believe that this board is and must be nonpartisan. Unlike those previous vacancies, I had the benefit of having the members of the executive committee also take part in the interviews and provide me with their thoughts and impressions. While the final decision on the appointment was mine alone, I was pleased that the clear majority of those participating came to the same conclusion as I did. So after careful thought and review of the qualifications for the candidates based on my belief as to whose characteristics, experience, and skill set will best serve both the board and the residents of the 4th District, I'm appointing Laura Belsky to the 4th District Supervisor. Pursuant to our ordinance, she shall serve until her successor is elected at the nonpartisan spring election next year. Do I have a motion to confirm this appointment? Second. I have a motion by Supervisor Rose and a second by Supervisor Kubicki. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Welcome. Moving on to citizen comments. Any citizens' comments? Any citizens wishing to speak who have 5 minutes, please state your name and address for the record. Citizens' comments, seeing none, citizens' comments are closed. Announcements to the chairman. I have a couple, obviously, with we'd like to welcome Ms. Belsky. She will be sworn in at our next county board meeting in 2 weeks. By the end of this week, obviously, our committee structures will change again. Our seating probably will change again. So I would probably think by the end of this week, the clerk should have an email out to all the supervisors on the potential change of your committee assignments and your potential change of your seating arrangements. So just look for that. Any supervisors have any questions in regards to that, you can see me at any time. So that's all I have, and I'll move on to supervisor reports. Supervisor Boyd Frederick, you have the floor.
just asking the members of Judiciary and Law to bring their calendars, because we will be meeting the day after the budget is presented. So we'll be moving the October meeting to later in the month, and we'll have the sheriff's calendar as well, so we'll be moving it to probably the following week. So thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Alverman, you have the floor.
My report is that I have no report. The holiday fell on our normal meeting night, so Facilities, Highway, Parks, and Golf will be meeting next Monday, the 9th of September.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's the best report.
Supervisor Mauer, you have the floor.
Thank you. On Tuesday, August 20th, Supervisor Nudo, Supervisor Rodriguez, and myself attended the Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Illinois State Leadership Day at the White House. The speakers that we heard from and we were able to ask questions of were from the Small Business Administration, the Department of Agriculture, the National Security Council, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and FEMA. So we actually got a lot of good information. We met a lot of people from different states, a lot of leaders from around our state, and it ended with the Vice President of the United States popping in to speak to us, and we got a selfie too, so.
Well done. Thank you. Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had our meeting this evening for Human Services Committee. One of the items we talked about was our upcoming meeting, which will deal with the 2020 budget. We will have a presentation by the administration on October 16th of next month at the Job Center. I believe the start time is 5:30 p.m. I will confirm that with you. But for all interested parties, if you want to see the budget process, how it's formed, how it works, that is a good starting point. And that will take place instead of our traditional meeting, which is in usually the first week of the month. So October 16th, 5:30 p.m., Job Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady. I think what I'm going to do is have the county clerk send out an email to all supervisors in regards to these changes. So let the chairman of these committees make sure they get these days, you know, because we're switching committee days for the budget. So any supervisor can look down that and see if which committee they want to go to. So I recommend that just because it's not your committee doesn't mean that you don't go to it. I'll clear the board. I see no other supervisor reports. Moving on, County Clerk.
County executive appointments. Andy Bueller to serve on the Southeastern Wisconsin Fox River Commission.
Refer to Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, please.
16, Andy Bueller to serve on the Land Information Council.
Refer to PDEC Committee.
17, Martin Lecoq to serve on the Land Information Council.
Refer to PDEC Committee.
Communications from the Judiciary and Law Enforcement Committee regarding Resolution FY 2019 Law Enforcement Justice Assistant Grant Award.
Refer to Judiciary and Law Committee.
Approval of the August 20th, 2019 minutes by Supervisor Elberman.
Supervisor Alverman, you have the floor.
I move the minutes as presented.
I have a motion by Supervisor Alverman, a second by Supervisor Gens. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion adjourned. I have a motion by Supervisor Berg and a second by Supervisor Rodriguez. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. We're adjourned.